Well, hello, everyone. My name is Mac Atkinson, and along with my sister Janet and our co-host, Dr. Karen Spencer-Dees, we'd like to welcome you all to the March 2015 SunWriter Fusion Network conference call. We've got a great call for you this month, as we normally do. And before we get started, I just want to remind everybody that none of the information provided in this presentation is intended to represent a diagnosis or cure of any illness or disease. Our speakers this month, Dr. Dees, you're with us, of course.
I am. Thank you.
Hi, Karen. And we have a great panel speaker list this month, too. We have Judy Dinsler back with us.
Hi, Mac. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Judy. And Maureen Stapper again. Hey, Maureen, how are you doing?
I'm wonderful. Thanks, Mac. Hi, Karen and Judy.
Thank you guys for joining us. Hey, you know, before we get going with the meat of this month's call, I just want to remind everybody, as I always do, that, you know, my sister and I try to provide some tools that will kind of help us all in SunWriter in terms of building our business and our product knowledge, et cetera. And one of the ways we do that is through these calls, certainly, but we also provide a website that's free of charge to anybody to access. The URL is up on the screen right now. It is www.thefusionnetwork.net. If you haven't had a chance to check the website out, please do. Again, there's a lot of information there. We have pages with our archived conference calls. We have business support tools page. We have a product support tools page. We've got a page dedicated specifically to Candescent, our cosmetic products. And we have leaders advice page and just a whole bunch of information there for people. So please check that out if you haven't. Last month, we talked a little bit about the power of the NBCs, and we heard from some of our European leaders that make up our organization, because I was actually in Hungary and Holland last month, so I thought it would be a great opportunity for everyone to hear from some of our European leaders, some of their perspectives on the products in the business. So if you didn't get a chance to listen to that call, again, it has been archived and saved for you on the Fusion Network website. Link to the website. Hit the link to the conference call page, and you can choose that call or any of our past archived calls. On to this month. What we're going to talk about here this month is why choose SunWriter. We're going to talk a lot about the SunSmile and the SunBright products. We're going to speak about the importance of antioxidants and some of the SunWriter products that actually contain these great antioxidants. And we're going to end with a few updates on information about SunWriter generally. I guess, as we normally do, what I'd like to do is kind of start off the call this month, if it's okay, and just talk a little bit about the SunWriter difference. And again, folks, this is a question that comes up to me all the time as I travel around the world and throughout North America and deal with some of our leaders. And you know, as new people come into these meetings, they're always asking me, well, what really makes SunWriter different, and why should I be considering SunWriter over any other opportunity? And how I always answer this is exactly the same. I talk to them about stability. SunWriter's been around over 33 years now. Very, very stable company. It operates in over 42 countries around the world, providing us a global opportunity to have an international business if we choose to. SunWriter's a debt-free organization, which is really unheard of in today's economic situation. They handle all of our administrating, our accounting, our 24/7 order processing. And coming from a manufacturing background prior to joining SunWriter, what was most important to me is SunWriter internally handles all of the research, development, and manufacturing of over 400 of the world's finest herbal-based foods, cleansing beverages, weight management, sports and fitness, household and natural cosmetic products. Now, these products are incredible, and what they really mean to me is they're the fuel, if you will, that really drives our SunWriter business vehicle. And what makes them unique is they're all produced under what we call our philosophy of regeneration. And I tell you, I can go through philosophy, but nobody does it better than Dr. Karen Dees. Karen, can I turn to you? Would you please talk to everybody through what this philosophy of regeneration means and what it means to you being a PhD in nutrition?
Sure. I think that, first of all, it's important to thank you to both Mac and Janet for the Fusion Network site. It is a wealth of information, and we appreciate all the hard work that you have put into the site and to these calls, and I just want to thank both of you from all of us. The philosophy of regeneration is very important to myself as a doctor in the field of nutrition, a nutritionist, but also it is very special because it really I think really epitomizes what SunRider stands for and is all about. And regeneration, I know that Mac and Janet, they like to use what I say over the years in terms of what regeneration stands for, which is to renew, it's to replenish and replace and balance the body. And this is very important because when it comes to foods, our company is all about foods. And if we take a look at the philosophy of regeneration and the SunRider difference, we look at what SunRider lists as 4 different principles which separate them out from all the other companies out there and also put them back to what I call whole food regeneration, which means that SunRider stands hand-to-hand, toe-to-toe with really whole foods, meaning that the peach or the orange or the apple or the cucumber versus the isolated or extracted isolates such as ascorbic acid and vitamin C, or what we see all the time on the market really, which is just vitamins. And this is about if you put the whole food in the body does miraculous things, which means that it can repair itself. I love when SunRider says that the body is the miracle, not the food. But I got to be honest with you, the food has to be of top quality, highly concentrated, and really picked at the peak of its nutrition to give the body what it needs so that it can regenerate itself. And really, this philosophy of regeneration, we can break down into these 4 principles. And the 4 essential principles are really 1, nourish plus cleanse equals balance. And that really is our NBC. And we talk a lot about NBC, that our foods need to be nourishing. Our foods need to also allow the body naturally to cleanse, and by nourishing and cleansing, the body will naturally come into balance. And all of the SunRider products are broken down into products that nourish us, that help us cleanse, and that help us to balance. And I want to always state that when I use the word cleanse, I am not using the word diuretic. There is nothing in SunRider that allows the body to actually remove things that the body needs, such as salts, right? We talk about this, electrolytes. When I talk about cleanse, I mean that the body naturally just lets go because it's nourished, so it can let go of toxins that it does not need any longer. The second is the principle number 2, food, not chemicals. And that's a little bit what we talked about just a second ago. And that is our bodies are designed to recognize foods, not chemicals. I love that SunRider says that. And that also includes protein powders and vitamin pills. We need the whole food, which synergistically, all vitamins synergistically and naturally occur in our foods. And we know that protein, right, we need it in its whole food state, such as whether you are a vegetarian and you're eating lentils and avocados and beans or not, and you're eating lean, antibiotic-free meats, or you love tofu. You will find that protein powders that are isolated only rob from the body, and we're not looking to do that. And what SunRider does is it provides the concentrated nutrients from whole food sources to keep the body intact and allow it to regenerate. And then our principle number 3 is variety, and I absolutely think this is critical. It reminds me of the best salad that you can pick right from the garden. A person cannot just live by carrots alone. They have to have a mixture of all different vegetables or fruits, or for those that eat grains and proteins, so that the body can build itself, repair itself, glean energy. And what SunRider writes is there's no perfect food or ingredient. Too much of anything can unbalance the body and even damage the health. And what SunRider does is it provides foods made with a variety of all ingredients. And of course, last but definitely not least, is the expertise in the formulation. And when I look at products and I look at foods, I always look at who's grown them, where is it grown, who are the owners, and what is their expertise. And when you look at all of the Chens now, but doctors times Chens, you will see that the owners, you've got Dr. Oi Lin Chen, who is a medical doctor, and you've got Dr. Tei-Fu Chen, who has his doctorate all in pharmacology, I love this, in nutrition. You've got Dr. Ruben Chen, who also is an MD. You've got a whole host of Chens that have all sorts of educational backgrounds that come together to give us expertise, and that's very important. It also shows their commitment and their ability to grow with the times, and that's important. And then the concentration. And this is critical because although I like to tell my own patients or clients, please eat 5 servings of vegetables every day, it doesn't usually happen. We look at concentration and we can say that our New Plus or our Quinary or our Cali and Fortune Delight are all concentrated, meaning that we start with 5 to 7 plus pounds of raw ingredients, and we then can concentrate that to 1 pound of finished product so that it's impossible to eat 5 pounds of broccoli. It really is. It's impossible to eat 7 pounds of kale to get the nutrition you need. But the Chens are brilliant. They really are. And they were able to create a patent and a way to concentrate these vegetables and these herbs and these fruits so that they concentrated them and extracted all the nutrition, keeping it in its whole food state, and then spray dried onto, if you want to think about it as eating 1 apple and spray drying 7 times the apple onto it, and then eating that 1 apple. That's a potent apple. Well, think about all the ingredients in every single one of our products like that. And I want to reiterate that when I talk about these foods, I'm not just talking about the foods that we eat internally with Sunrider, which are amazing, but also the foods that are in their oral care line or even in their cleaners, but also in their skin care line that we put on our skin, which is also food, and also in the makeup. So it's important when you look at the philosophy of regeneration, please, everyone, remember that we're talking about all the products, not just the ones that we eat internally. Matt, and with that, Matt, tell me a little bit, because I know you love these foods, and you and Janet eat these constantly and have for years, and you also have an amazing organization outside of the United States, and you've done a lot of traveling recently. Can you tell me a little bit about it and what you all talked about?
Well, Karen, yes, thank you, and I'd be happy to kind of quickly cover what we discussed in some of our meetings in Europe. But, first I want to thank you for that incredible overview of philosophy of regeneration, and you're absolutely right. I've been consuming these foods for over 25 years. They are an absolute part of our daily diet, and couldn't live without them at this point, so thank you for that. You're absolutely right. When we were in Europe, there were a couple things that we talked about in our meetings, and this next slide I just brought up very quickly here is one of the surveys that I looked at before heading to Europe this last month that kind of caught my eye, and I just wanted to share with everybody. And the important things here, this was a survey done by the insurance industry here in the United States, and what it was really showing is at age 65, they were looking at what happens between the age 65 and 70, and that question up top I think is very appropriate. Where will you be in 5 years? And what they found is that most people between ages 65 heading towards 70, once they reach 70, 63% were either dead or broke. 27% are relying on either outside financial help from their family or the government. 7% are just getting by. 2% are financially independent, and 1% are considered wealthy, earning $250,000 or more per year. Wow. So that 3%, if you will, that we're talking about there being financially independent and wealthy are, I think, what we all really want to shoot for. Now, the other thing that I thought was important I put down here, and I'll just touch on the first one, is how are the wealthy in America, how are they doing that? And the important part here is that 74% of that 3%, okay, that are financially independent actually own their own business, which is what we're all about in Sunrider. We're all independent entrepreneurs, we're independent business owners, IBOs, and we own our own business. Nobody is anybody's boss, including the company. My sister and I, we may be direct to the Chins, but the Chins are not our boss. Karen, You have people in your organization, they don't report to you with you as their boss. You know, we're all here to assist and to help people with whatever their needs are. And that's what we really do in owning these SunRider businesses. A couple more slides I thought were important just for people to see. One, to look and see what the network marketing industry, which is what we're in, is really all about. And this is U.S. statistics between 2008 and 2013. And except for a little bit of dip in 2009, since 2010, this industry in the United States has been steadily growing. And in 2013, it was close to $32 billion in sales here in the United States alone. And I know from tracking some of the other more recent statistics, that's continued to increase throughout 2014 as well. And again, I put this up there just so people can see that we truly are in a growth industry. The next slide that I have here now is something else I found very fascinating, and that is when you look at the network marketing industry, how are most sales handled? And I mean, you know, we've all kind of done the trade shows, we've all done the house parties and so forth. And by the way, you know, we do trade shows every year and we do our house parties too, but far and above, close to 70% of all the sales that are done in network marketing come from face-to-face, person-to-person, and door-to-door contact. Now, I'm not much for going out door-to-door, but I think this truly is, and we've talked about this before, Karen, this really is a relationship business that we're in, and the ability to sit down with somebody, to look them in the eye, to speak to them face-to-face or person-to-person, I think has a huge impact. We get to know people, we find out what their needs are, and by understanding what their needs are, we can truly give them a solution that SunRider will bring to whatever that need may be. Maybe it's health, maybe it's more energy, maybe it's weight loss, maybe it's a skin-related issue, so they need natural cosmetics, or maybe it's financial. We can bring these solutions to the table for the people as soon as we know what their needs are. So I thought, again, this was a pretty important slide for people to be aware of.
That's an excellent slide.
Well, good. And lastly, before we kind of get into the product side of things, I wanted to share with people, because SunRider has recently released the average income by rank within SunRider during the year 2014. And I share this with everybody because I don't know about you guys, but I get asked this question all the time. Well, can I make money in SunRider? And, you know, if I can, do I have choices on what I do with it? Can I pay my mortgage? Can I donate it to charity? Can I buy more SunRider foods? What can I do? And the answer to all of those questions is yes. Okay, you can. You can do whatever you want to with it. But it's important to know that a business leader, which is basically an individual like myself or like you guys that go out and generate a personal group that's purchasing $5,000 in products each month, which is not hard to do, okay? It is earning $1,600 per month in bonus income. A group business leader, who's someone that's put together 4 of these business leader groups, is earning on the average of $6,000 per month from SunRider. And a master business leader, which I'm very, very happy to say my sister and I are in this category. We're actually golden masters. But the minimum for a master business leader is 10 times business leader group's first level, is earning $11,000 or more per month from SunRider. Now, folks, I don't know about you, but an extra $600 a month certainly is going to help me. An extra $11,000 per month is going to put me in that top 3%. So, again, I encourage you all, approach SunRider any way you want to, whatever feels right to you, but don't forget that there is some incredible income to be earned from SunRider simply by going out and sharing what we know and love about SunRider, talking to people about the business and the income opportunity, but also sharing with people how to switch brands using some of the same money they're spending today at Safeway or Kroger or Walgreens or another pharmacy brand, and switching those same monies to purchasing from SunRider, showing people again how to switch the brands easily to these superior products. And I think that's probably a perfect segue, if I can, to maybe our oral care line of products, which is our SunSmile line of products. And the first slides I have up on here on the screen is our SunSmile herbal toothpaste. And Maureen, if I may turn to you, I mean, we've known each other for quite a while now. I know you were a dental hygienist for a long time. You've got a tremendous background in oral care and so forth. Would you first of all tell people, if you wouldn't mind, very quickly what your background is, and then share with us why you think this toothpaste is so superior to anything else on the market?
Oh, yes, I'd love to. Actually, my background is with dental assisting, and working and teaching dental assistants. One of the great opportunities I had way back was with Dr. Irving Glickman. He headed up the whole department of periodontology at Tufts. And I think I really learned the most, other than when I was in school, because it taught me how important the gums are. And just like any of the other Sunrider products, there is the philosophy of regeneration in our SunSmile toothpaste and the tabs and the refresher drops, and also in the whitening gel. And I'm constantly asked the question, is it safe? Does it work? Is it cost effective? Well, if we just look at what is in the herbal toothpaste, and Sunrider has done a beautiful page in the catalog on page 29, the oral care. And one of the things that they have put up is, do you know what's in your regular toothpaste? With a big question mark. And if you look at that and you see what is there and what needs not to be there, things like with the poison control warning, with sodium fluoride, which is a toxin, an industrial waste byproduct. Sodium hydroxide, it's alkaline and caustic. It's a cleaning agent that digests tissues. And sodium saccharin, artificial sweetener. Sodium lauryl sulfate, a mouth irritant that may cause canker. If that isn't enough to make you really look at what is the best toothpaste out there and know what Sunrider provides and switch the brands, I don't know what is, because that is a really direct, very educational point of view. And when you look at Sunrider's beautiful, smooth, delicate, feels so wonderful on the teeth and the gums when you use the toothpaste. There's no fluoride, no sodium lauryl sulfate, no sodium hydroxide, and no artificial colors or sweeteners. Instead, it's made with baking soda, herbal enzymes. For those who don't know what enzymes work is, it's to break down the bacteria, to break down the foods, if you will, on our teeth and gums. And that's done herbally, not with any harsh chemicals. And herbal extracts such as the neem tree oil and the peppermint oil. And Karen and I have talked about neem tree oil. In the background, people years ago would just take the bark, and they knew that when they chewed that bark, that neem tree oil helped to cleanse and clean, that they are putting this neem tree oil, peppermint oil, that's why you get that gentle, minty flavor and the natural ingredients that gently clean and the teeth and the gums. The gums are so important, especially after a certain age. It tends to be more about the gums, and for two reasons. Bacteria, actually, when we think of having a cavity, we always think of it as on the top of the tooth itself, whereas cavities actually can work from the inside out. This is why it's important not to have sugars, not to have artificial sweeteners in our system, because systemically it can work the same way as if you put something caustic on the top of your enamel. The gums are so important to keep healthy, because they will pick up the bacteria and transfer to the heart through the bloodstream if they are unhealthy, and they also support the teeth, the structure of the teeth. So look at these products that we have. Just the toothpaste alone, it's wonderful. So thankful for the Chens in doing this for us.
Great stuff. Maureen, thank you so much. You know, it was funny, I had an opportunity to be away with my wife a couple of months ago down in Mexico, and I unfortunately had forgotten my SunSmile toothpaste at home, so I had to use a commercial brand for about 10 days while I was away. When I came back, my gums were sore and red, My wife complained about me having bad breath. I mean, there were all of these things you were talking about that can happen when you don't use a good toothpaste. And I immediately went back to SunSmile, and it felt so good to be using that toothpaste again, you know? So I know what you're talking about. Judy, how about you? Is this a toothpaste that you and your family use?
Oh, absolutely. And like you, I've only had one or two occasions where I've run out or been traveling and ran out, and I felt persecuted if I couldn't have my toothpaste. So while I definitely appreciate that it doesn't have any of the negatives, such as the sugar, the fluoride, the dyes, all the things that other toothpaste have, the bottom line is it makes your mouth feel clean and your teeth feel different. And I think I've mentioned this before, but one of the ways to demonstrate it is put them on a Q-tip and have them pick one tooth and just do one tooth. And they'll never go back because your teeth feel so different. It's just fabulous. Wouldn't be without it.
Exactly. You know, I'm so glad you mentioned about the demonstration aspect of this, because you're right. We have many favorite product demos that we use in SunWriter, but with the toothpaste, one of the ones that I think you and I have done this before together too, where there's been kind of stenciling on a plastic bag or something. We've actually been able to remove the stenciling with commercial brand toothpaste. You know, it shows the distinction between the two very well. Dr. Dees, any comments on toothpaste before we move on to our next product?
I think you can move right on. I think that you all said it beautifully, and we use it 100% with our family.
Perfect. Thank you. You know, before I do this, just one other quick thing. I thought of this as we were just kind of chatting here. I remember a couple of years ago, I had a chance to talk to Dr. Chin about the toothpaste, and we were both laughing because we were calling it incredible and going, well, you know, how can you refer to toothpaste as incredible? But Maureen, you said it earlier yourself too. It's because of this particular slide up here that really catches people's attention. And I know Chin focused on 4 things, and you mentioned some of these products, but the sodium lauryl sulfate. This is a shampoo. It's a harsh chemical. It's appropriate for our heads, but not our mouths. Fluoride. The use of fluoride in toothpaste is kind of at best controversial. There are heated opinions on both sides of the argument, but for certain, fluoride is a harsh chemical. It'll eat through glass. It can etch the enamel on your teeth, which could result in very sensitive teeth and the required use of a numbing type toothpaste to avoid severe pain while eating and drinking. The sodium hydroxide is used to create an alkaline pH and to dissolve the food particles between the teeth, which Maureen, you mentioned. This same chemical is also used or can be used to remove the dead skin from animals in a laboratory setting. Don't want sodium hydroxide in your toothpaste. And the waxing agents, it's the same wax that's used on cars to polish full cars that they put in commercial toothpaste to whiten your teeth. So again, bad chemicals, don't want to use them. SunSmile toothpaste is all natural. That's the one we like. Herbal whitening gel. Maureen, may I turn back to you on this one? Tell us a little bit about the whitening gel and why you think it's good to use.
Yes, and if I can just add one more thing about the toothpaste. When children start to brush their teeth, they're usually a year to 2 years, and most of what they do is swallow. So it is important for us to make a note that we have a very, very safe toothpaste that is safe for children. And moving on to the whitening gel, something that I just discovered, aside from the fact that it's an incredible whitening gel, that really the formulation of it is strong but gentle, and again, the enzymes are removing that stain and yet keeping that acidic pH balance that's safe for the teeth. I found out that anybody who's doing the Invisalign can put this whitening gel right in the trays and whiten their teeth at the same time that they're having their teeth straightened. So that's a wonderful thing to be able to do. My family has used this from the time they were little, the children, and I love the size of it. In fact, all of the SunSmile products are so portable for anything, whether you're going on a trip through the airport. The size of everything is just a perfect fit.
Absolutely. Judy, how about you? Is this a product that you use in your household?
Absolutely. I just love it. I know with all the different whitening agents or even dental whitening, oftentimes people end up with sensitive teeth. And that's something none of us want. So I really appreciate having the whitening gel to add to it, and it definitely brightens. And as Maureen mentioned, if you use a mouth tray or whatever, it even accentuates the whiteness. But it's done naturally, because I think we've all seen some people who get theirs done, it's an unnatural white, like give me my sunglasses. But with the whitening gel of SunBright, it's just right, and it takes care of anything we would be worried about, is not having white enough teeth. So I love it.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny, I can remember, this was years ago, trying one of the commercial whitening products, and I think Maureen mentioned I ended up with kind of sensitive teeth afterwards because it was so harsh. And I use the whitening gel right now myself, and I don't know about how you guys use it, if you use it individually, but I found is, you know, with SunBright, everything is so concentrated, I can easily put a dollop of the toothpaste and a dollop of the whitening gel on the same brush, and I use them together to do it. Do you guys use it the same way or any differently?
Yes, Mac, you can do that separately if you choose, but I like the layering approach too. I put the fruit and vegetable rinse on, and that's a good hint to later as we talk about that, to cleanse the area of the toothbrush, then the refresher drops and toothpaste and the whitening gel on top if you choose to do it that way.
You know, it does sound like we're piling on the toothbrush here, but you know, I just kind of switched to the refresher drop slided. Maureen, you started it, so I'm going to carry on with it, but you're right. The third thing that goes on my brush is a couple drops of the refresher drops. So I'm the same way. It ends up being a very powerful toothbrush by the time I'm ready to put it in my mouth, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The refresher drops. Karen, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to skip past you on the last one. Anything about refresher drops you would share with people that you think is important for them to know?
I just think it's important for everyone to be able to see themselves using these products and how they would replace other things in their homes that they're already using, because I know that everybody brushes their teeth and most people use a mouthwash or they buy mints to suck on, you know, for their breath, or they use whitening gel. So I think this is really important to let everyone know that yes, this is healthier for you and all natural, but it also works. And I think that when it's all said and done, that's what people want to know. Does it really work? So I will say that from experience of drinking a lot of tea or a lot of Cali and Fortune Delight beverages, and from also just day-to-day life, right, as Maureen's talking about, eating healthy foods or acid on the teeth, that my family is always asking, how do you get your teeth so white? And they're always astounded because that we use all of our SunBright or oral care products to do what they're spending a lot of money at the store to do. And we're not breaking down the enamel, and we're not creating erosion in the mouth, and as Maureen's talking about, creating more bacterial problems. When it comes to the refresh drops, I just want to give little experiences, and then I'll pass it back on to all of you, and that is whether or not somebody has day-to-day needs for, you know, especially if you have a digestive imbalance, or you're cleansing, detoxing. A lot of times you notice that your breath is just not fresh and there's bad breath. And so using the refresher drops every day, putting a little bit on your toothbrush or a little bit in a little Dixie cup or a little cup and gargling with it, absolutely not only freshens the breath, but also, I believe, gives gives, I think, an oral care kind of once over from a bacterial standpoint in the throat and digestively. So I have my children all the time use the refresher drops on their tongue before school just to swish around and swallow. And my children are always saying, especially because at this age they have molars coming in, they have canker sores from being at parties, different birthday parties, and they'll always use the refresher drops in place of anything else to get rid of the canker sore or the bad breath or sore throat, we gargle with it, or just to keep the freshness in the mouth. And then I will say that it is both the whitening gel and the toothpaste are absolutely effective for everyone at every age. And this is one question I get all the time is not just is it safe for children, but is it safe, as Maureen's talking about, if you have dentures, or if you have crowns, or if you have other issues with your mouth. And this, I want to say across the board, is the best oral health care system I've ever seen that heals and, just as we talked about before, renews, regenerates the gums, the tissue, the lining, and helps you to have the best smile and the freshest breath you can, and the whitest teeth. And you can use it multiple times during the day, whereas these whitening gels, you cannot. You cannot. There is erosion of the enamel.
Absolutely. Karen, thank you. You know, and for me too, I mean, like the slide says are on the screen, I'm not a huge label reader, but I do pay attention to what I put inside my body. And as an alternative to, you know, commercial mouthwash and so forth, our refresher drop formula is alcohol-free. It contains no fluoride, sugars, saccharins, or artificial flavors. Again, right back to what you talked about with philosophy of regeneration, Dr. Dees. This is all about whole food, natural ingredients. So another great product for people to be considering. Lastly, in our oral care line, we have our SunSmile tabs, which are something that are right here at my desk in my briefcase. I travel with them around the world. They're a great sugar-free way to, again, avoid eating a piece of candy or something else, whatever we might do in terms of just kind of refreshing our breaths. Judy, do you use SunSmile tabs?
Oh, I love them. I absolutely, and especially when you can't always run, you know, brush your teeth, and when you're traveling or when you're out to a luncheon or something like that. So I think it's fabulous. And the one side benefit, I think, is if you do ever get a canker sore or have, you know, or sometimes have you ever brushed your teeth and you hit the side or you do something, have anyway, some kind of a canker sore or other sore in your mouth, if you will hold one of those tabs on it, you know, in your mouth, just hold it with your, you know, have it, put it right there, it clears it up. It's so fast and it's wonderful. So that's another way. And I also appreciate, just like the refresher drops, SunSmile tabs, you know, that is the first entrance of bacteria and all when we're around others and everything. So if we're keeping our mouth free of the germs and all, then we have a lot less chance of catching what's going on. So I think it's just fabulous. Wouldn't be without it.
I know my kids love these things too. They've kind of grown up on these, and they don't carry any other kind of mints or anything in their purses and stuff. It's always SunSmile tabs. Maureen, what can you tell us about this particular product? Is this something that you and your family use?
Oh yes, I carry these with me as well, whether I'm traveling or whether I'm at home. They're so easy to use. At the same time that it is cleansing the oral cavity, i.e. the mouth, it is also cleansing systemically, because a lot of bad breath, if you will come from the system. So yes. Ingredients like potassium bicarbonate, which is baking soda, vitamin C, then all of the enzymes that are in it, natural flavors. This is working in the oral cavity and systemically as well. So after you chew it, it becomes like a little toothbrush in your mouth, and then swallow it, you're getting double the benefit. So it, as Karen said, and I reiterate, the SunSmile Oral Care Program it really is the best. Yeah. I can't say enough about it.
Thank you. You know, I'm just going to add 2 more quick comments, and then we'll kind of move on here. And then just so everybody knows, the refresher drops, which we talked about just a second ago, are basically a similar or the same formula as our fruit and vegetable rinse, which is what we're going to talk about next. And I just wanted to add one other thing on the SunSmile tabs as well, and that is these SunSmile tabs also have powerful antioxidants associated with them, selenium, vitamin E, vitamin C, and we're going to talk a little bit later about antioxidants, but I just kind of wanted to set the stage for everybody with that as well. SunSmile, fruit and vegetable rinse. Dr. Dees, I know you use this every day at your house. Tell us a little bit about it.
Every single day we use it. So again, the SunSmile fruit and vegetable rinse is, I'm going to just read a little bit of what Mac has on the slide. I think it's important where he wrote, there's really no product equal to the SunSmile fruit and vegetable rinse. Dr. Chen considers this product one of his best formulas, and we use it in our own manufacturing facilities. It rinses clean the dirt, the waxy coatings, the oily substances, and other undesirable residues from your fruits and your vegetables, and it even cleans delicate produce like the broccoli heads, the field greens, and the herbs. And every household should use this product as part of a healthy lifestyle. And I will just add that there is nothing comparable to this product on the market, even though you will see out there from a replacement point of view, for those of you that are using some form of a rinse for your produce, this is in a whole different ball game or ballpark. This is, the derivative of this is whole food from corn and coconut. There is nothing chemical about this, and really the goal of this is to really clean that waxy coating off of all of the fruits and the vegetables so that you can get underneath it to what's undesirable. And that may be whatever hands have touched it prior, which have all sorts of germs on them, all sorts of bacteria, viruses, et cetera, that live on them. And then also, once you take off all of these waxy coatings and you get rid of the E. coli and all of these horrible substances that can exist on there, your produce will last longer. It will taste better, and it will be better for you. So what's amazing is that a lot of times what I hear is 2 things, and then I'm going to pass this to Judy, because Judy, I know you use this in many ways, and that is that a lot of people think they have an allergy, excuse me, to fruits and vegetables when they really are having a reaction to the pesticide that's on top of them. So once you get rid of all of the pesticides and these waxy coatings, you will be very surprised that your lips don't tingle anymore, and they don't itch, and they don't burn, and you will suddenly be surprised, my goodness, I can eat a whole lot more of my fruits and vegetables, because you're reacting to the chemicals that are on top of them, not to your produce. That's just a little FYI for everybody. Okay, Judy, what do you think?
Oh, well, I love it. I can't remember life before fruit and vegetable rinse, really, because it's just an essential for us in my household. And, of course, fruits and vegetables, that's not only the pesticide-laden ones, but also the organic. I mean, worms and parasites and things in the soil, all those things are not what you want to eat once you have your organic produce at home. So, again, washing that, you're free from that. Also, something that not everyone thinks to rinse off, or they might buy a bag of almonds or their nuts, you know, when they purchase that. That is just shocking. That makes a wonderful demonstration, the amount of residue that comes off of a bag of nuts. So we need to include that in everything. And if you buy your high quality meat, you still want to soak that first to get any parasitic, any salmonella, anything like that off of it, because organic and high quality meat too has less things that, you know, repel those kind of things. But either side of the equation, you want to use the fruit and vegetable rinse. And quickly, maybe just an additional uses of that, or if someone has athlete's foot or something like that, a fungal situation, they can use fruit and vegetable rinse on that. You can also use it for fleas. If your animal gets fleas, you can use it for aphids on your roses. All sorts of things. And it's just priceless, really. I just love it. I mean, and also another thing, traveling, you know, if you're in the, when you take a shower, or you step into that bathtub that many others have stepped into, I always put some of that in there, or some people take a spritzer and spray a hotel room down with it. So it's just has so many uses and so beneficial for all of us.
That was an awesome review, Judy. You know, it's funny, I can remember, boy, this is probably 8 or 9 years ago. We were at a convention, group directors meeting or something, and it was right about the time where SARS was a big deal, and I don't even know what SARS stands for anymore because it was so long ago. But I remember the company was giving everybody the little spritzer bottles with a little bit of fruit and vegetable rinse, and everyone was squirting it around the room, you know, with great stuff. You know, Judy, I'm so lucky that you're here in Arizona, and we've had a chance to do many, many meetings together. And I don't want to gross anybody out, but was it you or Lisa that told the story about using the fruit and vegetable rinse on a piece of salmon? Was it you that shared that story?
No, it wasn't me, but I've certainly heard some exciting stories about what comes out.
That's for sure, exactly. And it just goes back to your point of you can use this basically on anything, and it is a fabulous product. Maureen, I know this is something that you use in your household as well. Do you have any experiences or testimonies you'd like to share with us?
Yes, I have a large bottle in my kitchen. And then I have 3 of the smaller trial size bottles that I keep filled. One that I keep by the sink in the kitchen, and I use it with the cleaner for the kitchen. And I keep a small one in the bathroom. So my toothbrush gets cleaned practically every day. You never know what viruses are coming around. And then I keep one for travel. So if you're ordering the small ones, keep those because you can refill them from the larger container. And yes, all the things, and I love, it was a good reminder of what Judy had said because I have a dog now who has been scratching, and that reminds me, I will put the fruit and vegetable rinse when I cleanse him, when I give him his bath today. Thank you, Judy. I remember that now. And yes, this is such a wonderful travel. I've had it when I've had food poisoning. I've put a few drops in water and drank it, and it just cleanses through, and then I drink Cali. So it's killing any of the E. coli or parasites, and endless ways to use this product. Just love it.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Moving on, if we can, I'd like to very briefly kind of touch on our SunBright product line as well, which basically is our SunBright laundry detergent, our SunBright household cleaner, and the SunBright bleach. All are fabulous products that, again, are all natural. Judy, can I turn back to you for a second on the SunBright line? Are these products that you use in your household?
Oh, absolutely. I warn you, you won't be able to wash your clothes and anything else once you use Laundry Super Clean.
I agree.
Yes, agree.
Great for delicates and everything else, but it truly is, your clothes are different. There's no residue left on them. So sometimes I think, oh, maybe I would do a rug or something like that and something else, but I can't force myself to do it because when you wash a rug or something like that in another detergent, it just leaves a residue and collects dirt, and it feels funny on your feet. So it's just fabulous for everything, and you don't need to buy anything else. I don't buy softeners. I don't purchase any other laundry product to work along with it. I just love it, and it has been very helpful with not only in my own grandchildren with very sensitive skin, but many people, many other Sunrider, users have always have responded to that so favorably once they changed to that, because along with my grandson, there's many others that they can buy 99.9% free things on the the grocery store, and it still bothers their skin, but not with the laundry. And the same with the household. I just love it. In fact, I'm panicking because I need my order in to get that. So as soon as we're done with this call, I'm going to order because I love it for the granite countertops. I use it for so many things. And again, I don't use other products. I just love it because it does the job. It doesn't have a fragrance, but somehow the air is cleaner once you use it. So it does carry just a cleanness to it, and it works. So there's just no reason to buy something else.
I love it. That's great. Thank you, Judy. You know, same way on this end. We use both products. You mentioned the sensitive skin. The reason that our Super Clean products do not cause irritation is because they are pH matched to our skin. So they are very neutral in terms of exposure to skin. Couldn't agree with you more. Going right back to your first comment, there is no other laundry detergent or cleaning products that we will use in our home. These are what we use. We've used them for a number of years and would not go back to anything else. Dr. Dees, I know you use these products as well. Any additional comments you'd make on these?
I think that I will just add to it that it's safe for everybody, and that we have definitely seen throughout the years all sorts of skin imbalances heal and clear up as a result of changing, you know, the detergents. And that's one of the first questions you're asked by your pediatrician when you bring a child in who's got some kind of skin irritation or eczema or some kind of psoriasis. What detergents are you using? I always found that very interesting. They'd never said, what are you eating? For what kind of detergents are you using on the skin, because it's so important. And always remember that what goes on the skin goes in the bloodstream. So even if it's, you know, sitting on the clothes or on the sheets,
Hello, Karen? May have had a technical difficulty, folks. I hope you can still hear me. We may have lost Dr. Dees. Judy, are you still with us?
I sure am.
Can
Great.
you hear me?
Oh, there you go. You're back again.
Oh, how interesting.
That was kind of fun.
I'm right here. I never left. So I'll keep going. So just to finish up, I'll just segue back on in that we've seen a lot of recovery using the household cleaner and the laundry detergent and our SunSmile bleach in healing all sorts of skin irritation imbalances. And also I want to reiterate part of one of the things we love about the household cleaner is that anybody who comes in our home who does have an allergy, and we have a dog, never has a reaction in our home, ever. And I'm always amazed, and they'll say, you have no pets. And I'll say, well, we have a cat, and we have a dog, and the cat's outside. But yes, you're sitting about one room over from the dog. So we know that we use it in the same way we would a Febreze or anything else. We spritz, we spray, we clean, and it works.
Fabulous. Thank you. Maureen, quickly, any other comments from your household on these products?
Just that the same thing that's happening with the SunSmile oral care is happening with the Super Clean and the laundry detergent. The enzymes break down the bacteria. Your clothes are treated gently, i.e. the skin is treated gently. And again, is it safe? Does it work? Is it cost effective? And it's yes to all of those. And I don't think there's any product out there that can answer all those questions and still have what Sunrider gives us. It's still the NBC, the Nourish, Balance, and Cleanse, whatever product that you're using.
Maureen, do you find that when you're doing Reiki, or if you have a massage therapist that is using Sunrider, are they able to clean the massage table or Reiki table or the sheets or all of the things that touch the skin of their clients?
Yes, and there's a huge difference. There are times when I cannot work on a client because their clothes are so laden with the perfumes and other chemicals that are on their clothes from another product that they use to clean their clothes, and it becomes very difficult. So what I do is ask them to just step out of the room for a second, and I spray the table. And if it's too much, I I really can't work on them because it's just overwhelming. But I always use on what I clean my table and what I clean my my sheets and coverlets and everything, it's always with the Super Clean Laundry, and I just love it. It's wonderful. It works beautifully. I also spritz the room with, I have a container of water in my spritz bottle with the SunBright and maybe a fruit and vegetable rinse so the air gets cleansed. And everybody who comes in always says, the energy is so clean here. So it's a nice combination.
That's great. Thank you, Maureen. I think if you don't mind, Dr. Dees, let's move on now to antioxidants. I don't want to, we don't have a lot of time to spend on this subject, but I think it is an important thing. I know Dr. Ruben Shin recently did a point-across segment on antioxidants where he discussed this, and we'll show people that slide in the connection to it here in a few minutes. But I wanted to kind of come back and talk to you and our panel a little bit about antioxidants, and was hoping maybe in our conversation we can discuss a little bit about antioxidants, kind of where do we find them naturally, how do they help us in terms of battling free radicals, and why is this important, and then very briefly we can share with people some of the SunBright foods that contain high quantities and concentrations of antioxidants, recognizing that all SunBright foods contain antioxidants. But if I can you tell us a little bit, in your opinion, what are antioxidants and where can they be found?
So I think we need to simplify this for everybody because antioxidants are very important. There's a word, it's called oxidation. And what we're looking for with antioxidants are really from whole foods where we've got naturally occurring, such as vitamin C or vitamin A, that are in their whole food state, are active and alive, that go into the cell and basically allow the cell to regenerate itself and not die and not metastasize. And so antioxidants become very important to boost, to replenish, to heal, to cause a regenerative effect in the cell so that we can all be healthy and healthier. And you find them really in food. You find them in the best foods, and you find them organically in your produce, in your fruits and your vegetables, in your herbs. And what there are different, we'll use the example of an orange. Orange has a lot of vitamin C, just as a pepper has a lot of vitamin C. That is an antioxidant. And when it's in its whole food state, such as when you eat the orange or you eat the pepper, you will find that the body naturally uses it and boosts. You'll feel a boost in the immune system, in your energy levels. Your cells will begin to repair themselves and regenerate. Our SunBright is filled with antioxidants in all of our products. And a free radical is the reverse or the opposite. A free radical is something that the body cannot break down. It's a chemical. It's something that may come from pollution, from the air, from a carcinogen, something that you ate. It may come from smoke inhalation. It's something, if you think about it as, if you think of the cell, we'll use it as a circle, and you think about this as twice the size and a square. It cannot, there's no place for it to go, and it stays within the body. And ultimately, it attacks or affects your cells in a sense by surrounding it. And what SunBright does with this huge amount of antioxidants, believe it or not, is it actually helps the body to break down and eliminate these free radicals that we breathe in and take in. And these free radicals are what cause us to have disease, and the antioxidants are what cause us to have health. And so the more SunBright that you consume, the better your health, the more antioxidants you'll have in your body. And there are some SunBright products in the SunFit line that Ruben covered that have a lot of wonderful antioxidants, but I want to reiterate that all of our SunBright foods are just laden with antioxidants. So that, in a nutshell, is the difference between an antioxidant and a free radical.
Thank you. So if I can just kind of make sure I understand, We want to be healthy. We want to look younger, longer as we age and get a little bit older. We need to consume antioxidants to battle the free radicals to help us to do those things in our body. Now, you mentioned that the antioxidants come in a lot of forms, the fruit, vegetables, the nuts, the grains, vitamins, minerals, etc. But I know from doing my own research, too, that when we eat foods, we get a lot, but they really aren't enough. And it comes back to the concentration thing, I think.
Correct.
We're probably getting enough antioxidants in the food that we would eat normally on our table.
Correct.
And that's really where SunWriter makes a difference. It goes back to that concentration you were talking about when you were discussing the philosophy of regeneration earlier. And that's really what SunWriter brings to the table. High concentrations of antioxidants to give us what we need to really battle these issues going on in our body. Go ahead, please.
And Mac, not just the well, let me rephrase that. In addition to the concentration, the antioxidants that we're looking for have to be alive and active. So therefore, when we're looking at our SunWriter products, we're looking at living, right? Living foods. Mm-hmm. A lot of our foods, even though in theory are wonderful for us based on the elements or the nature of our planet, they're not the healthiest. Even though originally it might have contained a lot of antioxidants. The level of vitality is down, but the level of vitality in our SunWriter foods is sky high times the concentration. Therefore, you're correct. The amount of antioxidants we are taking in is 100 times more than we could ever consume. Therefore, we have the opportunity to eliminate these free radicals that normally we could not.
Exactly. You know, Karen, there's been a lot of talk recently in the news over the last few years about resveratrol and that being such a powerful antioxidant. And I could remember Dr. Chin talking on stage a couple of years ago about the fact that we would have to drink like 400 bottles of red wine each day, which the skin of grape, of the red grape, contains resveratrol. We'd have to drink 400 bottles of wine a day to get the amount of resveratrol we really need, okay, in our system. Here's the next slide I just brought up is kind of a list of some of the products you mentioned that Dr. Rubin Chin had discussed in his point across, which are part of our SunFit program that do contain high concentrations. An example, Metashaper, for instance, one bottle of Metashaper contains enough resveratrol to equal the equivalent of like 1,000 bottles of wine. And there again, I'm just kind of going back to this concentration issue. Is there anything else you would want to share with people about these products or any of the other SunWriter products that we should be considering for an antioxidant boost?
I think that, you know, again, I want, based on everybody's country and what they have available, I want to really reiterate that all of our products have a lot of, are loaded with antioxidants. If we're talking about the SunWriter Antioxidant All-Stars that Ruben is talking about in his point across, one that I really love is Meta Booster. Because it gets right into the cell and allows the cell to produce more life, more oxygen, and all of the antioxidants that we're talking about here when you're talking about Metashaper and resveratrol is an anti-aging, and I really want to reiterate this. This is not just about anti-aging externally where our skin looks younger and we can basically pass for 10, 15 years younger than we are. This is about anti-aging internally also, where our organs, our cells are actually reversing to where they're younger. So they're not aging as faster, as quickly, and we're actually seeing a regeneration in them. So we are going to see an extended life period, and we will all look better, feel better, and have less disease. So whether it's Metashaper or Meta Booster, our Sun Trim Plus, I think one of my favorite will always be Fortune Delight. I think everybody has it, and we can drink it, and it tastes good, and we all can pick our flavors. But again, Mac, I'm going to let you pick whatever products you want, but I want to make sure that we're all clear that whatever products you have in your country, they all have antioxidants.
Absolutely, Karen, and thank you for restating that again. There's no question about it. And I'm going to kind of finish up the antioxidant segment here with again, your comments on philosophy. Repair, renew, and regenerate. That's what all of these products do for us. So Thank you very much for that. Again, what we're trying to do here, folks, is we love sharing all this product information with you and so forth, but really it's important that we get out there and we really promote and share with people all of our healthy lifestyle, antioxidant-based products. Let people know why we consume these products, why we love them so much. Direct them to these conference calls so they can hear more detailed information. Couple of things before we finish up here, because again, timing is an issue as it is every month with us. There are a couple of things that Dr. Ruben Chin is doing here in North America in terms of the SunFit program, which he, of course, was the author of. And he's doing some SunFit Advisor certification trainings around the United States. He'll be in Montana on March 14th, in Utah on April 11th, Tennessee on May 7th, in the New York area on May 30th. For any Sunriders or anybody in the areas of these meetings that would like to attend, get in touch with the Sunrider office, or you can register at the URL I pasted here up on the screen right now. The other thing I just wanted to share with folks is there are some great YouTube and videos that Sunriders produced recently on the Sunrider product difference, the Sunrider mission, and why choose Sunrider. All of those are available via YouTube, again at the URL that you can see on the screen. And they're also on the Fusion Network website, by the way, so you can catch them there. And here's a couple, I'm sorry, let me go, went too fast. There's a couple of recent points across that will kind of support some of the things we were talking about this month. And that is, there's a great point across on the SunSmile oral care products, but I don't think you can learn any more than you already have on this call here this month. Same thing on Ruben's nutrient superheroes, the ABCs of antioxidants. That's what Dr. Dees and I were just chatting about here, but if you want some more information and hearing it directly from Dr. Ruben Chin, you can certainly log on to that point across. Both of these segments on the Sunrider website as well as Fusion Network. And lastly, folks, I just want to kind of end with a bit of an inspirational story here. Late last month, I think it was February 20th was the actual release date, Disney Films released a movie here in North America called McFarland USA. And this movie was all about a gentleman that I've had the pleasure of knowing for a number of years. My father knew him, he and his wife, Jim and Cheryl White. And the short story here is that Jim and Cheryl live in a small rural farming community in Central California. Jim is a coach and a track coach in particular, a cross-country coach. And he came into this community, and through the love, support, guidance, mentoring, etc., from he and his wife, they took a community of children that had never won any records in terms of track and field, and they turned them into state champions. And this next slide I just put up is something that is absolutely true and is something that was depicted in this film. But the McFarland cross-country team, under Jim's coaching, won a record 9 of 15 California state championships. They won 22 out of 24 league titles, and they won 15 sectional championships in cross-country competition. This is such an incredible story that it was first picked up by the LA Times and Sports Illustrated, and Sports Illustrated had a great quote. Gary Smith, who wrote the article, said, "No one can figure it out how the runners with the shortest legs and the grimmest lives began winning everything once Blanco," which is what they call Jim White, took over the program in 1980. It truly is a phenomenal story. I'm sure Jim loves the fact that he was depicted by Kevin Costner, who wouldn't, okay, in terms of so that was fun. I just got back from Europe, so I haven't had a chance to see the film yet, but it's something that I'm going to do very soon. Would encourage you all to go out and see this, because one of the other factors, in addition to all of the great mentoring and love and support that Jim and his wife Cheryl provided this team, is they also, through their own efforts and through those of some of their upline and supporting friends at Sunrider, were providing these athletes with Sunrider foods as well. And they were using everything from New Plus to Cali and Fortune Delight to SunBreeze and Energy Plus. And again, we don't make any claims or anything else on these calls, but I know in my gut, in my heart, as Jim and Cheryl certainly did as well, that the Sunrider products assisted and helped these kids perform to the high caliber that they certainly did. So again, folks, McFarland USA, a brand new Disney film released late in February. Go to your local cinemas, check it out, and kind of witness this incredible story firsthand. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with everybody. Dr. Dees, Any last comments before we kind of end up this month?
I just want to say thank you, Mac, one more time, and thank you, Judy, and thank you, Maureen, thank you, Janet. This information is priceless, and I hope that everybody, again, no matter where you are in your life, that you will begin with any one of these products and just know that you are going to better your life and create a wonderful future for yourself. And please share the products.
Thank you, Karen. No better close than that. Judy, Maureen, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate the way you guys have shared on this month. And again, everyone, enjoy the month of March, and we'll talk to you again in April. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye now.
Everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.